With me now is the documentary film maker Deeyah Khan, who has spent many months researching extremism in Britain for an ITV documentary, JIHAD, a British story, which is airing tonight. And we're joined from Bristol by Deeyah Khan, an anti-radicalisation campaigner and spokesperson for the Hussein family, whose 15-year-old daughter, Yusra, went to Syria last October. And let me start with you, Deeyah. Did you and have you come to a conclusion as to the central reason why she went?
We still are unsure. As I said in the last interview with you guys, we don't have much information as to where she is at the moment. We had information and proof that she did go to Istanbul. Other than that, there has been no proof coming forward whether she's in Syria or Iraq or why she's even gone.
Would there have been any warning signs that you and I might have recognised as warning signs before she went?
The thing is, there was no warning signs, there was no dramatic change, there wasn't changing character, changing clothes, there was nothing. She stayed consistent. So even when proof came forward from the police in terms of, when they did the investigation, there was nothing to suggest that she had any extreme views or any, she was following any specific ideology, which just pointed in the direction of her being a vulnerable girl who was groomed online.
And that, Deeyah Khan, is interesting because this business of not changing clothes, and we had the 3 Turkish girls who went in very Western, well, I mean, they were Eastern but very Westernized clothes. And I'm wondering whether you, in all your months of research, have found one central thing we could cling on to as a reason why people go.
Well, there are multiple reasons for different people, but if I had to pick one absolute central, essential theme, it's acceptance. And when I say acceptance, what I mean by that is that a lot of young people find either conflicts in their home life, or they find that they're not embraced and accepted in the wider society, that they're not quite living up to the expectations that are placed on their shoulders.
Is that our fault?
Of course it is. The fact that this monstrous, brutal jihadi movement, violent movement, is able to prey on our young people, of course that is partly our fault. Of course our young people are responsible human beings, but it's only limited what they understand and what they know they are actually signing up to. The thing is, one of the most striking things that I found in the process of making this film over the last 2 years is, what does this movement actually provide for our young people? It provides unconditional acceptance. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter what you look like, what your race is. You are accepted. You are a part of us. You are loved. They become a surrogate family. They become a network of friendship and support and kindness. Why are they becoming that and not us?
Right. Well, Deeyah, I mean, the latest situation is that involving this family of 12, all of whom 3 women and their 9 children. And you think of jihad as essentially a male activity. Have they simply signed up because they want to be subjugated and taken over as wives?
I think at the moment it's very early to speculate where they actually are, so I can't go into too much information about this particular case. But I think, as Deeyah just said, there is an issue around acceptance, belonging, not feeling British or feeling that, this country doesn't understand what Muslims are going through. There's a lot of issues where Muslims are being, massacred around the world, and our government doesn't seem to take a stand. And I think, as she mentioned, that, ISIS is taking advantage of that. They're making them feel that they understand the situation and that they can do something far greater and get involved in a movement which will, in essence, create an Islamic caliphate. But for ISIS, it's a power thing, whereas for these young people, they think it's actually something which is going to provide some sort of support and help for the helpless Muslims around the country, around the world.
Well, now, the 3 women that we now are talking about, who've taken their 9 children, were on a pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia. That much is certain. Mm-hmm. That poses a real security problem for police, because, I mean, thousands of people go on pilgrimage, particularly now, this time of year, Ramadan and the rest of it. So does that mean now that they're going to have to start thinking about people going on pilgrimage and then diverting?
Well, I think, first of all, they need to really look at our security services in this country. If these people were on the radar and they were being monitored, why weren't steps taken in place to make sure that, everything they did was being monitored?
But let me just put that to Deeyah.
I completely agree. I completely agree. I think that the responses of our security services needs to be sharpened, absolutely. But I also think that what we cannot overlook is what makes our young people susceptible to this message in the first place.
But let me
Once
just
they've
pause you
reached
there.
the border,
This question of sharpening the activities of the security services, I mean, it could be very alienating if you start sharpening your activities against pilgrims. I mean, this is a very legitimate move and one that very devout people take.
I agree. For me, my focus and my sort of deep passion and interest is in the human story that goes beyond the caricatures, that goes beyond the political and the ideological posturing, and trying to understand what is it that makes young people susceptible in the first place. Once they've reached the border of whatever country, it's too late. And yes, our security forces need to react in whatever way that they need to, but what is it that has led them there?
But it seems from what you said at the beginning, the real people who need to react are families.
Well, actually, there are families, absolutely, but it's also our governments, it's also all of us. We are all, what are we doing to let our young people down? What are we not providing for them?
Well, we're going to have to leave that rhetorical question in the air, and maybe people will be thinking about it. Deeyah Khan and indeed Anira Koka, thank you both very much indeed. Kathy.
Thank you.